Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP Today. Ducati has declared that Marc Márquez was part of the family from the moment he joined the factory team. Stepping up from the Gresini satellite squad, Marquez has already completed 2 MotoGP tests alongside reigning champion Francesco Bagnaia. But while the atmosphere remains positive for now, the real test will come once the season begins. With preseason testing wrapped up in Buriram, reigning MotoGP champion Francesco Bagnaia has admitted that his new Ducati teammate, Marc Márquez, appears to be in better shape ahead of the 2025 season. Technical setbacks hampered Bagnaia's preparations, while Marquez completed a full race simulation with impressive pace. Could this be an early warning sign for the Italian's title defense? Gresini Racing's 2024 MotoGP season was a year to remember, both on and off the track. The Italian team not only delivered outstanding results but also experienced an unprecedented media boom, thanks in large part to the presence of Marc and Marquez. Their impact propelled Gresini to new heights in visibility, sponsorship, and sporting success. MotoGP champion Jorge Martin faces a challenging adaptation period with Aprilia after missing most of preseason testing due to injury. With limited time on the RSGP before his crash, Martin will have to learn the bike during race weekends. Meanwhile, Aprilia test rider Lorenzo Savadori has been developing the package in his absence, and has some good news about the 2025 engine. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Marc Márquez's highly anticipated move to Ducati's factory team has been one of the biggest stories of the 2025 MotoGP season. After spending a year at Gresini, the 8-time world champion has now joined Francesco Bagnaia in the premier squad, with Ducati aiming to create the strongest team in the paddock. Ducati's sporting director Mauro Gresini spoke about Márquez's seamless adaptation, emphasizing how quickly he has integrated into the team. Marquez's first official moment with the Ducati factory squad came during the team's launch event in the snowy mountains, where he and Bagnaia bonded over skiing before heading into testing in Sepang and Buriram. Gresini highlighted the importance of that event, noting that it was the first step toward building strong team chemistry for the season. At the first day of the test, he was already part of the family. "It's like we've had Marc since 10 years ago. We wanted to start a new era with Marc and Pecco, and that was the first step. It was a nice experience that we want to have for the year. It is very important for us." Quote from Gresini. While Ducati is excited about its factory pairing, the manufacturer faces a new challenge this season with a reduced lineup on the grid. The Pramac racing team has switched to Yamaha, leaving Ducati with 6 riders instead of 8. Despite this, Gresini remains confident that Ducati will maintain its competitive edge. "We have one team missing, but VR46 are factory supported. With Gresini, we have good relations. We will find a solution during the year. One team missing, but this is the sport, and we are so happy with the Ducati situation." VR46's Fabio Di Gianantonio is the third and final rider to have a factory-spec Ducati in 2025. While his teammate Franco Morbidelli will race with a year-old version of the Desmosedici. As Ducati enters a new era with Marc Márquez and Francesco Bagnaia leading the charge, the team is optimistic about maintaining its dominance in MotoGP. Márquez has already settled in, but the true test will come when the racing action begins. With fewer bikes on the grid and a strong internal rivalry brewing, Ducati's 2025 campaign promises to be one of the most intriguing in years. Francesco Bagnaia enters 2025 as a 2-time MotoGP world champion, but after the final preseason test in Buriram, he openly admitted that he feels behind compared to his new teammate, Marc Márquez. Bagnaia's test was disrupted by technical issues, preventing him from completing a full race simulation. Meanwhile, Marquez showcased his speed, consistently lapping in the 1:30s during a long run on the final day of testing. Bagnaia explained that, instead of a full simulation, he focused on logging as many laps as possible with used tires. While he took positives from that approach, he acknowledged that it wasn't an ideal comparison to Marquez's preparation. It's true that Marc Márquez, in this moment, looks in better shape, because also yesterday he had the chance to work, he had the chance to feel okay on the bike, and I wasn't in the same situation yesterday. I didn't do a simulation, just because it was more important for me to find a way and finish the job, because yesterday I lost completely, more or less, all the day. So today was to restart from zero and I didn't have time to do the simulation. Quote from Bagnaia. Marc Márquez's impressive showing in Buriram has raised eyebrows across the paddock. His ability to complete a full race simulation, something Bagnaia was unable to do, puts him in a strong position heading into the season opener. Bagnaia noted that while he could match Marquez in shorter runs, it was difficult to accurately compare their pace without completing a race-length stint. Marc did very impressive lap times and was very fast, competitive, and when I was stopping and restarting I was on the same level, but this is not a correct way to balance it, concluded. While the real battle begins when the lights go out in Qatar, Marquez's strong test and Bagnaia's struggles could indicate an early power shift inside the Ducati Lenovo team. As the 2025 MotoGP season approaches, Marc Márquez has already made his presence felt at Ducati. While Francesco Bagnaia remains confident in his abilities, his disrupted test has left him playing catch-up. With Marquez looking sharp, the stage is set for an intense battle between the two Ducati stars when racing begins. The arrival of Marc Márquez transformed Gresini Racing into one of the most talked about teams in MotoGP. According to Chameleonic Analytics, a firm specializing in sponsorship research, Gresini was the third most visible team on television, with a total of 21 hours and 49 minutes of broadcast time. That visibility translated into a staggering €444 million in advertising impact for sponsors, with exposure totaling nearly 49 hours throughout the season. The team also attracted 31 new business partners, expanding its influence in key markets across Europe and Southeast Asia. Gresini's commercial and marketing director, Carlo Merlini, emphasized the importance of these partnerships. Collaborations with our most loyal partners play a very important role within Gresini Racing. They are our true asset, and we are proud to have rewarded the trust they placed in us. Quote from Merlini. While Gresini Racing dominated off the track, their results on the circuit were just as impressive. The team secured 4 wins, 1 in a sprint race, and 21 podiums, finishing an outstanding third in the overall team standings. Marc Márquez, in his debut season with Gresini, claimed third place in the Riders' Championship, proving he was still one of MotoGP's elite riders. His brother, Alex Marquez, delivered a solid campaign as well, finishing 8th overall and adding crucial points to the team's success. Gresini's communications director, Cristian Massa, highlighted how special it was to have both brothers racing together. 2024 has been a fantastic year, and this campaign was born with the intention of taking advantage of a unique opportunity. 2 brothers racing for the same team. Quote from Massa. The impact of Marc Márquez extended beyond the racetrack. Gresini Racing launched the #Facciamo in Cinema campaign, where the Marquez brothers recreated famous movie posters in a creative and engaging social media initiative. The campaign was a viral hit and even won an award for Best Social Media Activation. Gresini Racing owner Nadia Padovani reflected on the significance of signing Marc Márquez. She also spoke about the emotional impact of seeing Marquez back at the top after years of injuries and struggles. I would never have imagined that an 8-time world champion would go from a factory team to an independent team. He is an important figure in MotoGP, a great champion. We have seen him struggle with his injuries and his long recovery, so to see him back on the podium is moving. Quote from Padovani. Gresini Racing's 2024 season was about more than just results, it was a revolution. The combination of sporting success, media dominance, and innovative marketing made it a landmark year for the team. With Marc Márquez now moving on to the factory Ducati squad, Gresini will look to build on its momentum in 2025 and continue making headlines in MotoGP. Jorge Martin's highly anticipated switch from Ducati to Aprilia has been anything but smooth so far. Injury prevented him from completing preseason testing in Sepang and Buriram, meaning his real adaptation to the RSGP will begin once racing gets underway. In his absence, Lorenzo Savadori, Aprilia's test rider, has been hard at work refining the bike's performance. Speaking from Buriram, Savadori highlighted key areas of development. Savadori also provided a boost of confidence for Martin, revealing that Aprilia's 2025 engine is a major improvement over last year's version. Still working on a new electronic strategy and a swing arm. We are happy because we see that the bike is working good. We are also happy because the 2025 engine is better, much better, than the 2024. We are still working for Jorge. Quote from Savadori. He emphasized that the engine's improvements are noticeable, overall, but particularly on the straights, which could help Martin feel more comfortable as he transitions from Ducati's powerful Desmosedici. One of Aprilia's key weaknesses in 2024 was overheating, especially in high-temperature races. Savadori confirmed that the team has worked throughout the winter to mitigate the issue, with noticeable improvements in recent tests. Yes, we worked. Also, during the winter, we improved a bit. In Malaysia, it was much hotter, the humidity was higher. With this issue now better managed, Aprilia hopes that Martin and his new teammate Marco Bezzecchi will be able to fully focus on extracting the best from the RSGP. Aprilia heads into 2025 with a completely new factory rider lineup. With Maverick Vinales moving to KTM and Alex Espargaro retiring to become a Honda test rider, the team has placed its trust in Martin and Bezzecchi, both experiencing their first season as official factory riders. Despite the rider changes, Savadori insists his role as a test rider remains the same. His job is to ensure that any new components are race-ready before they reach the factory riders. In general, it does not change. The official riders are just focused on going faster. FP1 is like qualifying, you need to find the limit soon. So, my job doesn't change. Some pieces work, some don't. When the material arrives for an official rider, it is immediately ready to improve their performance. Concluded. Jorge Martin may face a steep learning curve when he finally gets to grips with his new Aprilia, but the team has been working tirelessly in his absence to ensure the RSGP is a competitive machine. With a stronger engine and improvements across the board, Aprilia is hoping its fresh lineup of Martin and Bezzecchi will deliver big results in 2025. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. See you for the next video.